Guys, welcome to Boomstick Tactical. And today's topic, what we're going to do is to go over some things that will help you to increase your accuracy when it comes to pistol shooting. One of the challenges that we need to overcome in shooting a handgun is the shorter sight radius. In order to ensure that you have an accurate shot, you need to have a good firm stance, a good firm grip on the weapon, and proper trigger control. The two most common stances in handgun shooting is the isosceles stance, where your shoulders as well as your hips are both parallel to the target, both hands are extended out, and a top-down look you would see an isosceles triangle formed between the shoulder and where you are holding the handgun. The other stance is the weaver stance, where your shoulders and your hips are approximately 30 to 40 degrees at an angle to the target. One of your elbows is slightly bent while the other is held straight to control the weapon. When you're shooting large caliber handguns, it's my opinion that the weaver stance actually works a little bit better. The distance of having one leg slightly behind the other one allows you to manage recoil much better. You need to be sure that you have a good grip on your handgun. There are a lot of aftermarket accessories available today that will allow you to customize the grips on most firearms to fit your hand. This is my Glock 19, and since it's a Gen 4, it comes with a few additional back straps. Of course, for my hands, I have the large back strap on this, which really gives me the ability to get a real good grip on this pistol. The way that I like to grip my pistol, if it's a semi-automatic, is to have my hands have a slight opening here on my main hand, take the palm of my support hand and lay it right in there, wrap that support hand around my primary hand, and really be able to lock that handgun down and keep it from moving. Another thing that you want to do is with your support hand is you want to apply a slight back pressure, like you were trying to pull that gun towards you, and then with your primary hand you want to push slightly. This push-pull effect really helps to get that handgun stable. The placement of your trigger finger is another key component in making sure that you have your handgun under real good control. If you have too much of your finger pressed through that trigger, you have a tendency to wobble the handgun. The same is true if you have too little. You will simply wobble it the other way. So you need to find a good medium between having too much trigger finger and too little trigger finger. To give you a little better understanding of what I'm talking about, I am intentionally going to put just the very tip of my finger onto this trigger. And as I squeeze that trigger, I want you to notice the action of the sight. You can see the sight there. And when I go to squeeze that trigger, you can actually see that I'm deflecting the gun slightly to the left. If I were to actually fire that shot, it is completely changing my shot picture, my sight picture, and will cause me to miss where I had intended to hit. If I go the other way and I put too much finger through into the trigger well, when I squeeze the trigger then, you can see just the opposite effect. It is actually pulling the handgun slightly to the right. What you want to do is you want to find just the right media between pushing that trigger straight back and being able to keep your sights directly on target. For me, the ideal spot is to have the trigger hit slightly in front of the knuckle on my finger. That way I am able to squeeze that trigger and have very little movement in the handgun. When you go to aim at your target, one of the first things that you need to do is to ensure that you are focused not on your target, not on the rear sight, but on the front sight. That is where your focus needs to be when aiming. You need to make sure that the top of the front sight is even with the top of your rear sight as well. You can't stress that enough. If you have it up above, you will shoot high. If you have it down below, you will shoot low. Here's my sight picture. I'm focused heavily on the front sight. I have the front sight even with the rear sight, and I am bisecting the center of the target. With the correct stance and correct trigger pull, when I fire the shot, I should hit right in the middle of that target. Now, of course, I am actually wrapping around the camera to show you this, so it's a little hard to hold the gun as stable as it needs to be. Guys, I'm loaded up, and we are going to actually fire this shot using the viewfinder of the camera, using the techniques that we've discussed in this video, and see just exactly how well they work. Alright guys, if you look at our target, you can see that we're just slightly off to the left. Now looking through that viewfinder, you can see in the video, target was way more out of focus than what it would normally be if you were shooting. However, you know, from about 8 yards back, I'd say that that's not too awful bad. You know, we're slightly to the left once again, but as far as our elevation, that right there is where we need to be. You know, once again, keeping that top plane of those sights even. Guys, hope you liked the video. I'd appreciate it if you would give it a thumbs up. Also, be sure to subscribe and leave me any comments down below. Thanks for watching.